Welcome to the Christopher Valentine Show. We have a very special guest, Stephen Tobolowsky, and you may know him from the hit new show GLEE, which is sweeping the country. Now, Stephen, when I saw the promos for Fox a year ahead and I was saying, like, this is going to be a hit show, I kept telling Christian, you've got to see the show, you've got to see the show. And I think I saw the pilot when it first came out, and then they made you wait like another season to watch it again. But you were on the first, I guess, what, 6 episodes? Or
yeah, like the first 4, 5, 6 episodes, and then I mentioned to you that they paid me not to do a couple episodes.
Now, why is that? What's the deal with that?
I think they really knew where they didn't want to go. But
where's that?
not with the Sandy Ryerson story. No, I think...
Was that too much for television? Because it was a little risque, you starting out, and
I think
they didn't really
I
say what happened. You were just kind of...
There's so many great characters on that show, and so funny, and... You know, so I would start out and I would do a scene with Jane or with Matt or with somebody, and the writers would all say, oh, we've got to do a Sandy through line. And
what does that mean?
Well, it means like, okay, what we'll do is we'll have 3 or 4 shows where we have one of the plots that's Sandy and being involved with something, but they had so many kids to get on the show and to sing those fabulous songs that the Sandy plots, they go like...
Sandy is your character, right?
Sandy Ryerson.
Okay.
And then they, well, no, we'll just get rid of that. But they had already hired me to do the show, so that's okay. To me, the great thing about GLEE, and I've worked on so many. I've done like 250 television shows.
Oh my goodness.
It hurts. No, it hurts.
Well, you're doing Californication now.
I'm doing Californication now. That's why I have the beard, to not look like Sandy. But yeah,
that's the scruffy California look,
even
right?
though Ryan Murphy, for the head of GLEE, the captain of our ship, Ryan said, well, Tubbo, you could wear the beard in GLEE, if you want. I said, no, we'll keep Sandy and Stu separate. But the thing about GLEE is that I feel like I'm working on Broadway again, doing the show. It's not like doing a TV show. Everybody there, we're always working on dance routines, we're always working on the songs, we're always working on the scenes. Then we'll shoot a scene, we'll work on a dance for the next show. Everybody is working so
Musicals
hard.
really seem to be making a resurgence. I mean, we had Grease in the 70s. We were talking earlier with Debbie Reynolds about that and how her career started off in musicals. And now the kids are really seeming to grasp back onto it. I mean, I love those movies from the 40s, those MGM movies. And when I saw this show coming out, I was like, great. I had been an American Idol fan and kind of hadn't really been watching it this season now that, what's her name's gone? Paula Abdul. I mean, she was one of the reasons I watched the show. So she's gone, and so I stopped watching the show. So Paula, we love you. But I'm so glad that GLEE, right out of the box, was it. Did you know it was going to be this big when you were filming?
I think not. I mean, you never know if it's going to take the extra, if a show's going to take the extra step and catch on with the public. Now, I've been in shows where I go like, well, this is a hit. This is phenomenal.
And what show was that?
One of them was the movie Radioland Murders. I called my agent and said, this is one of the most wildly entertaining movies I've ever been in. And I think it did $47 worth of business. I mean, nobody saw it. You don't
I was going to say, and I'm not sure I remember that one.
Well, George Lucas was the producer, and it featured all these stars and musicals and Broadway and all sorts of things. Brian Benben, Mary Stuart Masterson, Christopher Lloyd, George Burns, I mean, Larry Miller. I mean, the list goes, it's got one of the greatest casts ever. And I'm telling you, that show was wildly entertaining when I saw it as a rough cut. And when I saw it in the theater, they said that it was shortened. It was shortened from 2 hours and 20 minutes to 89 minutes. And the reviewer said, this movie is like a gerbil on speed with a migraine. And I thought, well, that's mean. And I went and I saw it. I go, no, he's right. It is like a gerbil on speed with a migraine. I mean, they compressed everything. But there's an example of a show that I thought was spectacular and didn't catch the audience. I was on a TV show called Against the Grain. I thought it was one of the best scripts, best cast I ever worked with. Canceled. after like 10 shows. I was on the TV show Dweebs. I thought it was absolutely hysterical. It's the same thing as The Big Bang Theory now, only Dweebs was canceled after 10 shows. GLEE I'm looking at, and I'm going like, here are all of the elements that would make a hit. But you never know. And on the set, you never know. Usually you could judge the success or failure of a show by the snacks they have on the set.
Yes, we love to hear about the craft table. That's one of our big questions.
Yeah.
So what was it like?
Craft table of GLEE went up during the season, let me tell you. Craft table of GLEE started with the celery and the carrot sticks with a little bit of the French onion dip.
Some of them look like they're gaining some weight this season.
Yeah.
I won't mention names.
And you have the little truck where you can get your little bag of Fritos, little bag
That's
of
what you
Doritos.
see. We were in Paradise Cafe, and they're always shooting down there, and it's like, oh, I want to see the craft table. All they had was some coffee, some artificial sweetener, and some Fritos.
That's it.
That's what you start
now,
out.
now they have a sandwich truck. Now they have a cappuccino truck.
Oh.
Now they have all sorts of fruits and vegetables. But all those guys, all the kids who play kids, they all like chocolate. So
They do? Okay.
that could be your culprit. Tons of chocolate on the set.
Well,
Yikes.
you know, they need energy. I'm watching Leah, and she, to me, looks like a young Judy Garland. Does she not? I mean, she is so talented. It's clear. And when you hear her sing the songs of the other people that have sung them, she actually sings them. I don't want to, get anybody upset, but she actually sounds better than the original recordings.
I'll tell you something I get that you don't get.
What?
Because I'm on set when Leah's really singing, and I get to hear the whole song, uncut. And let me tell you.
You mean she's doing it live? It's not in the sound studio and then lip synced after?
Oh, well, sometimes she does it live, but sometimes, has sung it in a sound studio, and I still get to see her sing it all live without it being cut up into little pieces.
So give us the scoop. What is it like? Oh, is she a good singer?
I think she has the voice of God. I think Matt has the voice of God. Matt Morrison. Unbelievable voice. Now, he was like one of the main tenors.
Is he the
Broadway.
football guy?
No, he's the choir. He's the new teacher.
Okay, the teacher.
He's the lead.
Yes.
So he's the one who leads the Glee Club.
Right.
He took over my job.
Oh, that's right.
Right. But what a voice! What an amazing voice! And the show it has so much talent, and it just happened to hit a right note at the right time.
The casting is absolutely perfect. I mean, they did such a good job. They even brought in a new male lead for Leah, or Rachel, as she's not on the show. And he looks like he's a ballet artist, and he's a singer. And he wasn't on last week's episode, but the people that are on the show are just amazing. Now you have that kind of nasty teacher who not that you weren't the only nasty teacher on there, but what's her name?
Jane.
Jane.
Lynch.
I have been wanting to say this for a while, and I'm going to say it now. She was in a movie where she was saying, "Pop it, pop it." Do you remember that movie where it was singing and dancing? And I'm telling you, they need to have her character do that on the show, because it's exactly the same character that she's playing on this show, and it would be perfect. So Jane, please, get the writers to do that. It would be great.
Yeah, one of the funniest people in the world, and, so sweet, just a pleasure working with her all the time. It's just great.
And speaking of the budget going up, so you've noticed the crowd. It's like Fox is really spending a lot more money on the show now. Does that mean that the actors have to get there earlier in the day and stay later? Is it because are they practicing more? Are the numbers becoming bigger, more grandiose?
No, I think to tell you the truth, we always were there early to late.
What's early? We want to know your day.
Well, I think,
what is your casting call time?
Well, I think, often a show on Monday when you start shooting, usually you'll start at 6:30 or 7, because each day you'll move progressively later, and so on a Friday you're shooting what we call a split, which is half a daylight scene and half an evening scene. So you'll get there at 3 in the afternoon to 3 in the morning, or 4 in the morning, so any nighttime scenes you're shooting more near the end of the week. But as you could see, you start at 7 on Monday and you go to 9, then the next day you start at 9 and you go to 11, but you can't tell. Example, Leah, this is when we shot Daddy's Got a Gun.
Yes, that was on last week. I happened to catch that episode. It was really great because it brought your character back as a cameo. And I think also, while you're talking about this story, I think people, speaking of how this whole machine works, where you're filming episodes, you're coming in the morning, but sometimes the scenes are placed in other segments that weren't even meant. But
That's right.
So we want to mention that, but go ahead with your story first.
Well, we shot that starting at 11 at night. We shot it from 11 at night to 1 in the morning, and Leah was, while they were turning the cameras around, was back there singing songs while we were waiting and talking about when she was going to hit the gym in the morning.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
relentless.
Isn't she like Judy Garland? I mean,
I think so.
She's going to these award ceremonies. I think you guys got every award you could have gotten. You got the Screen Actors Guild, right?
Mhm.
You got the Golden Globe.
Right.
Didn't you get an Emmy too? What was the other one? You got 3 really huge ones.
Yeah, no, you're right. We did, but I don't know. I don't watch the award shows.
Were you at any of the award shows?
No, but I did get a SAG award. I'm so happy.
Oh, that's one of the best.
Yeah, they
That's
sent
one
it
of
to
the
me
best.
in the mail. I didn't go, but I got my best cast.
Well, you're part of the cast. So
Yes.
you probably should be getting an Emmy one, and you each get a statue, right?
No,
Is that how it works?
I don't know.
What'd you get with the SAG? Like a certificate?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
suitable for framing. But I was nominated for a Tony, and I got a nice big plaque and all this kind of stuff. But
That's right. You're not just television. You're doing Broadway. Tell us about Broadway and any movies that you've been in too that we might have heard about.
well, everybody knows Groundhog's Day.
Yes.
Everybody knows me from that, and all the kids know me from Freaky Friday and Garfield. And on the underground scene, everybody knows me from Memento, where I was the man with amnesia, Sandy Jenkins.
Well, let's go back to Groundhog Day. I didn't even realize it's like clicking in. You were the cameraman?
No,
Who were
that's
you?
Chris Elliott.
Okay, well, which character did you play in
Bing,
that?
Ned Ryerson. Bing,
Oh,
the insurance sale-
guy. That's right. You poor guy. Well, some of those reincarnation days, boy, does that fit into metaphysical. Some of those reincarnation days, you had a good day where you saw of everything, but that is one of the movies where you start watching it anywhere in the movie and you just can't stop.
Right.
It's just it goes
Fantastic.
from scene to scene to scene to scene. It's such a good movie.
Incredible.
And Broadway. Let's hear about that. You got a lot of years experience in New York. You were talking about New York earlier.
Yeah, that's an awesome schedule. Because
What was the Tony Award for?
mornings at 7.
Okay.
In fact, I didn't know it, but I was working down the street from another nominee, Kristen Bell, who ended up playing my daughter on the TV show Heroes. So we were both on Broadway at the same time, father-daughter. It's so sweet. But it's exhausting, because you start rehearsal, you rehearse for about 8 weeks, and then you go into a preview schedule of about 6 weeks where you rehearse during the day, perform at night, and then rehearse after the audience leaves.
Why is that?
Just to work on the notes.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though you've got the show down, you've done your 8 weeks, they still want rehearsals?
Oh, yeah. During previews. But New York is such a tight-knit theater community. It's so cool. You'd be on the subway and somebody come up to you and say, like, so how are rehearsals going? Congratulations. Oh, I can't wait to see and everybody knows about the play and knows about rehearsals. And it's so exciting. But there's nothing like opening night, and there's nothing like being successful opening night. Mornings at 7 was wildly successful. We were nominated for more Tony Awards than any regular play in history, not a musical.
Okay.
We lost them all. We lost every one of them.
No.
It's okay. We still had, but we thought it'd be a funny ad saying, lost more Tony nominations than any play in history. We were nominated for 13 or 14, something like that. I think we tied with Angels in America, or maybe had one more, but it was an amazing, amazing show. Great experience.
How long? And one more question: how long has your career been going on? When did you start? And how did you get started?
How do you define when you start?
Some people come out of the womb and they're just show people, right? They
Yeah,
know. Is that the case with
because
you?
I did plays when I was a little kid, but if you want to start when I got my union card,
Okay.
which is when I am a professional,
Is that SAG or something different?
SAG,
Okay.
AFTRA, and Equity, 1972.
Wow.
82, 92, 2002, almost
You're
40
coming up
years.
to 40 years, and you're still going, and you're now in Californication, so we look forward to seeing you in that and many more shows,
Thank you.
movies, and Broadway maybe again.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us,
pleasure.
Stephen.
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.